What's up? Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be reacting to what is it called? Unsettling recordings left by missing people. Okay. It might be a little unsettling. You know what I mean. My fault. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that, and I guess let's get to it. Here we go. Just do that real quick. If the screen recording, there we go. Boom! I got it now. Okay. I guess let's get to it. Boom. Wait.
In one video.
No, wait. Watch this. The content in this video is for informational purposes. Actually, I don't care. Let's skip to the video.
In one video, a mother warned that something bad might happen to her weeks before she disappeared. And another showed a woman just vanish from a place with cameras everywhere. And a man refused to take a lie detector test after his best friend disappeared. In each case, a video or recording captured the final moments before disaster. These are creepy last recordings from missing people. The goal, guys, is 2.5 million subscribers by the end of 2026. It is crazy.
Okay.
If you subscribe, and I will do my very best to put out the best videos I can for you. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. A stalker in the woods. In 2017, two girls went for a hike. They never made it home, but before they vanished, they recorded something chilling. The video showed a man walking aggressively toward them. He got close, then whispered 4 terrifying words. The girls were Abigail Williams and Liberty German. They were best friends from Delphi, Indiana. One day in February 2017, they decided to take a walk along a local hiking trail. Kids in Delphi went there all the time.
I live pretty close to the trails. Dropping your kids off at the trails was just something that you did. It was just what kids did.
It was considered one of the safest places in town, but that day the trail was about to become a crime scene. Abigail and Liberty walked, took pictures, and enjoyed the afternoon. Liberty even posted a photo of Abigail on Snapchat. In the photo, Abigail was standing.
Liberty? My hometown is Liberty. That's crazy.
On a bridge. She looked happy, but minutes later, the mood changed. The girls noticed something so disturbing, they decided to record it. A strange man was following them, and he didn't look friendly. To be clear, this video was not posted on Snapchat. Liberty only recorded it on her phone. The man kept his head down as he followed them. His hands were near his pockets. The girls...
Her name is Liberty. My fault. Grilled cheese, by the way.
Began to panic.
Reveals the growing panic as Abby asks her best friend if the man following them is still there.
Love Roblox? Earn Roblox digital gift cards with Microsoft Rewards. Sign up for Microsoft Rewards.
They try to move in a different direction, but the man kept coming closer.
You can hear nervous whispering as Libby steps off the trail.
See, this is the path.
They needed a way out, but the bridge and the trail gave them very few choices. And through it all, Liberty's phone was still recording.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Eventually, the man got close enough for his voice to be captured. He said 4 words to them.
Guys.
Hi.
It sounded like an order. He was telling them where to go. After that, the recording abruptly ended. Abigail and Liberty were supposed to come home later that day. When they didn't, their families knew something was wrong. They reported the girls missing. Search teams combed the area. Friends and family also asked for help on social media. After 20 hours of searching, Abigail and Liberty were found near the bridge. Someone ended their lives. Police found 2 key pieces of evidence at the scene. The first was an unspent bullet. They believed it came from the culprit's weapon. The second was the recording on Liberty's phone. It showed the final moments before the girls were forced away from the bridge. It was hard to watch. The town was heartbroken, but now they had a clearer picture of what happened. The video spread across the media.
Abby and Libby were ordered down that hill, police say.
From that point on, that small town had one mission: find the man in the video no matter what. Police officially asked the public for help.
The video of the man walking towards the girls with his head down was made public. and the public was encouraged to send in tips on who they knew this man to be.
Soon, officers received thousands of tips. They interviewed more than 500 residents and potential suspects.
That's good.
At
That's
first,
good.
it seemed like the mystery man would be found quickly, but the opposite happened. They couldn't identify him. For nearly 5 years, no one was arrested. Abigail and Liberty's family were losing hope. Then in 2022, there was a break in the case. Police discovered that a man named Richard Allen was in the area the day the girls disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, his name was already on the list of suspects, but due to a filing mistake, investigators never followed up on him.
The folder with Richard Allen's information in it, it was marked cleared. Investigators testified they essentially forgot all about Allen.
Police searched Allen's house. They found a firearm. Experts tested it against the unspent bullet found near the scene. It was a match. The bullet came from that weapon. Allen was arrested. While in custody, he confessed to the crime. He also said he was sorry for what he did. At trial, prosecutors played Liberty's final video as evidence. Then Richard Allen was sentenced to 130 years in prison.
Yeah, I don't think
Justice
he's
was
making
served
that.
5 years after the crime. But Allen nearly got away with it. Without that phone recording, the man on the bridge might have stayed a mystery forever. This next case is about someone who predicted her death months in advance and filmed it all on video. The video in the vault. Susan Powell didn't know exactly what would happen to her, but she knew she was in danger, so she made a video to leave a warning behind.
Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented.
In that video, Susan told people what to look for if she ever went missing. Not long after, she vanished. And after people watched that video, many believed Susan's husband ended her life. A few years earlier, Susan had a beautiful life. She married the love of her life, Joshua Powell, in the early 2000s. Friends saw them as a perfect couple. They were always holding hands and hugging in public. Soon they had 2 sons, but the marriage did not stay happy for long. Money became one of their biggest problems. Joshua spent heavily on himself, but he nitpicked every dollar Susan spent. Joshua claimed he wasn't making enough money, so he pushed Susan to cut back on expenses. Eventually, Susan found a stable job to support the family, but even that didn't fix the marriage. According to reports, Joshua started controlling other parts of her life. He monitored her calls, he restricted her internet access. Susan needed to ask for permission to leave the house. His behavior shocked her so much that she wondered if he had mental issues. The same friends who once considered them a perfect couple noticed Josh's controlling behavior. Still, Susan stayed in the marriage. She wanted to keep the family together. And one day, Joshua made a decision that terrified her. In 2007, Joshua filed for bankruptcy. He owed hundreds of thousands of dollars. Around that time, he pushed Susan to get a life insurance policy. Susan agreed, but she didn't feel good about it. They ended up with a policy worth $1.5 million. If Susan passed away, Joshua would get paid. That terrified her. She believed Joshua might hurt her and make it look like an accident. Then he could collect the money. Susan even told a coworker she was afraid for her life. Her exact words were, "Joshua could easily take me out." Then the fights got worse. Sometimes Joshua got so mad he broke things around the house. In June 2008, one argument was so heated that Susan locked herself in the closet and threatened to call the police. After that, Susan made a decision. If Joshua ever hurt her, she wanted to leave proof behind. She wanted to help solve her own murder. About a month after that fight, Susan recorded a warning video.
Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented.
These videos are annoying.
She
Please help
described
me
her
get
fears about her
paid
husband.
so I
She also
can-
showed items Joshua broke during arguments.
I had necklaces too. I don't know where those.
Please help me get paid so I can get YouTube Premium. So I can get better videos for y'all. I want to be eligible so y'all can join my Bible study group. Like, you know? Okay. Back to the video. Like that real quick.
I got in a rage, as you can see, and broke this, and threw all my DVDs and made a mess because he was angry at me.
Susan also wrote a will on a piece of paper. In it, she wrote, "If I pass away, it may not be an accident, even if it looks like one." Susan locked the will and the videotape in a safe deposit box at a bank. If something happened to her, this would become evidence. About a year later, something did happen. On December 6th, 2009, Susan was
crazy.
at home with Joshua and their 2 sons. That afternoon, afternoon, a neighbor came over for lunch. In the evening, the neighbor left. After that, everything went downhill. The next morning, Joshua and Susan Powell both failed to show up to work. Their children also did not arrive at daycare. Then things became even more worrying. Neither Susan nor Joshua answered their phone. Concerned friends called 911. They told police the family was missing. Officers went to the house for a welfare check. While they were there, Joshua drove up to the house. He was with their two sons. The boys were 4 and 2 years old. But Susan wasn't with them. When police asked where he had been, Joshua gave a strange answer. He said he took the boys camping. That made no sense to investigators because there was a blizzard that morning. It was freezing. Why would anyone go camping in that weather? Besides, the boys were supposed to be at daycare that morning. Police informed Joshua that Susan never showed up for work. No one knew where she was. According to police, Joshua seemed shocked by the news. He claimed he had no idea where his wife was. From that moment, Susan was officially declared missing. Soon, investigators found the will and recording Susan left behind. Both pointed to the same fear. Susan believed something bad might happen to her, but that wasn't enough to arrest Joshua. Then police found another suspicious detail. After Susan disappeared, Joshua liquidated her retirement accounts. It was like he knew she was never coming back. 3 years passed, and Susan was still missing. But as the kids grew older, they started talking about the night their mother vanished. What they said sounded like evidence against Joshua. They told their grandparents that Susan was with them on the camping trip, the same camping trip Joshua claimed he took with the boys. Their exact words were, "Mommy was in the trunk." They also said Mom and Dad got out of the car and Mom disappeared. If that was true, Joshua knew far more than he was saying. But before police could get the full truth, the case took one more turn. In February 2012, Joshua's neighbors heard a huge explosion. They called 911.
We have just confirmed there has been a fatal explosion at the home of Josh Powell.
Joshua was inside with the two boys. None of them survived. Police believe the explosion was not an accident.
Police say Josh Powell used something, maybe.
Man, do it to yourself, but not to the kid, bro. Like, really?
Gasoline to set off the fire.
Friends and relatives told authorities that Joshua emailed them minutes before the explosion to say goodbye. After that, the investigation into Susan's disappearance was suspended. She was never found. This next recording shows a woman arguing with the man who was kidnapping her.
Sad,
and the more
bro.
she questioned him, the darker it became. The last phone call. In August 2010, Amber Tuckero took a short vacation with a friend, but that trip became her last. Amber went missing. The final recording of her life captured her speaking to the man who likely murdered her. The chilling part was that Amber didn't even know she was being recorded. Amber's case began when she traveled to the Edmonton area in Canada. She was with a friend. They enjoyed the first day of their vacation. The problems began on the second day. That evening, Amber decided to visit the city, but instead of going with her friend, she went alone.
We don't know why she wanted to go into Edmonton. Maybe she just had things to do. She never either told her friend or her friend never said. We don't know why.
Amber left her motel and headed out.
She walked out to a nearby road and started hitchhiking, climbing into a vehicle sometime between 7:30 and 8 p.m.
A car pulled over. The driver offered her a ride. Amber got in, and the vehicle...
First of all, why would you do that at 8 a.m. at night? Really? Gosh, Amber.
Drove away. While she was in the car, she received a phone call. It was from her brother. He was in prison at the time serving a sentence. Because the call came from an inmate, the prison automatically recorded it. The audio became the last time anyone heard Amber alive. Amber was talking to her brother when she realized the driver was taking her down a strange road. She wanted to go into the city, but they seemed to be heading in the wrong direction. So she asked where they were.
Where are we by? We're just heading south of Beaumont, or north of Beaumont. We're heading north of Beaumont.
Amber didn't trust the driver. They started...
I'm by Beaumont. I don't like that.
Arguing.
Yo, where are we going? No, this is a... Are you f***ing kidding me?
The more Amber spoke, the more worried she sounded.
Hey, you better not be taking me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do what...
At this point, Amber seemed to understand the danger. She was trapped in a stranger's vehicle. She didn't know where she was, and the driver kept giving evasive answers.
And where are these roads going to? 50th Street. 50th Street. Are you sure? Absolutely.
Absolutely no. But that's why I never do Ubers or whatever. So.
Then the recording ended abruptly. The next day, Amber didn't return to the motel. Her friend was worried, so she contacted Amber's mom back home.
Tootsie says she and Amber were in constant communication, so when she couldn't reach her on the second evening, she was immediately worried.
Amber's mother reported her missing. Local police launched a search, but they found nothing. No body, no crime scene, no witnesses. Eventually, police discovered that the prison recorded Amber's final phone call. The prison handed over the audio. When the police listened, they heard Amber speaking to the driver. They also heard the driver answering her. That recording became their biggest clue. Police needed to find that driver, but all they had was his voice. Police released part of the audio to the public.
We're asking the public's assistance to listen to the tape in hopes that someone recognizes the male voice of the driver and phones investigators with that information.
A few days after that public appeal, there was a breakthrough. Someone found human remains in a rural area. It was close to where Amber was last seen.
That's
Forensics
weird.
confirmed the worst.
The RCMP confirmed today the human remains found on a rural property near Dubuque, Alberta on Saturday, September 1st, 2012, are those of Amber Abyssal.
Amber's case was now a murder investigation, but the only way to find the culprit was to identify the voice in the recording. At one point, three women said they recognized it. They each identified the same man, but after looking into him, police cleared that man. Over time, hundreds of tips came in. People kept saying they knew who the voice belonged to, but one by one, every suspect was ruled out. To this day, Amber Tuckero's case remains unsolved. This next chapter is about a woman who vanished from a place with cameras everywhere and somehow no one saw where she went. Lost at sea. A cruise ship is one of the hardest places to disappear. There are people and cameras everywhere, and there's nowhere to go because the ship is in the middle of the ocean. But somehow, Amy Bradley vanished from one, and the last footage of her made people blame one man, a man who swears that he's innocent. Amy Bradley vanished in March 1998. She was on a cruise ship with her parents and her brother Brad. It was a family vacation. For the first few days, Amy seemed happy, but by the third day, she started to feel uneasy. Amy said the male crew members were staring at her, and it made her uncomfortable.
She told her mother she didn't really like the way some of the crew
What's
were
with Dr.
watching
Phil,
her.
bro?
Her family thought the man was just attracted to her, but Amy didn't see it that way.
They seemed to be almost tracking her, taking an interest in her that felt, well, a little too strong.
One night, Amy went to a party on an upper deck of the ship. That's where she met a man named Alistair Douglas. Douglas was a member of the ship's band. He and Amy talked. At some point that night, they danced together. The ship's videographer was filming the event, and he recorded Amy and Douglas dancing. At the time, it was normal party footage. A few hours later, it would become evidence. Amy left the party later that night. Afterward, she spoke to her brother Brad. According to Brad, Amy said she wasn't comfortable around Douglas.
Brad would later recall that Douglas was flirting with Amy and getting a little too close. Amy even told Brad that she had to tell him to back off.
Early the next morning, Amy's father woke up. He looked outside and saw Amy on the balcony. She was sitting there quietly. He went back to his room. Less than an hour later, he checked again. Amy was not on the balcony. When he searched, he realized she was not even on the ship. Amy was gone. Amy's father notified the crew. Everyone was searching for Amy.
Has anybody noticed that she can just jump off or something? Like, bruh.
At first, people thought she fell overboard, but her family found that hard to believe.
She was a lifeguard and a strong swimmer, someone who understood danger and did not take unnecessary risks.
An announcement was made across the ship, but there was no sign of her. Soon the FBI joined the investigation. They wanted to make a list of the last people seen around Amy. That was when the ship's videographer stepped forward.
And that was when I went, I wonder if I have any footage of her, because we were in the club that night.
The party video was given to law enforcement. When they checked the recording, they saw her dancing with Douglas, so investigators focused on him. 3 witnesses claimed they saw Douglas talking to Amy the morning she disappeared. Another witness testified to seeing Douglas hand Amy a drink containing dark liquid. Suddenly, Douglas wasn't just someone from the party. He was the prime suspect. Douglas was questioned by police, but he said he had no idea where Amy was. They even asked him to take a lie detector test. Douglas took the polygraph and passed. Without strong evidence against him, he was let go. In the coming days, the Coast Guard searched the ocean. They looked for any sign that Amy fell off the ship, but they found nothing. The big question remained: how did a woman disappear from a ship in the middle of the ocean? More than 20 years have passed, and that question hasn't been answered. Amy's disappearance is such a big mystery that Netflix made a documentary about it. Over the years, people came up with theories. Some believed she was kidnapped by the crew members who were staring at her. Others think she staged her own disappearance to start a new life. And others believe she simply fell off the ship. Whatever the case, we hope that one day Amy Bradley will be found. This next story was so strange that police called it the most baffling case of their careers. The man who never left. Brian Schaefer went missing in 2006, but what confused people was how he vanished. The case was so strange that people wondered if something supernatural happened. Brian had a lot going for him before he disappeared. He was a medical student at Ohio State University. He had friends, a girlfriend, and a great future. Then came the night that changed everything. It was March 31st, 2006. Brian planned to go out with friends, but first he wanted to have dinner with his dad. During dinner, Brian's father noticed something was off.
Brian looked drained. Dark circles under his eyes. Randy thought his son shouldn't go out that night. Thought he should rest, but he didn't say it.
After dinner, Brian headed out. He met up with his friends Clint and Meredith. They went to several bars and drank heavily. Later that night, they ended up at a bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. And once Brian walked inside, the night took a strange turn. The bar had security cameras.
He never went
One
out.
of those cameras captured Brian and his friends
I remember
arriving.
watching
At around
this.
1:15 a.m., security footage captures Brian, Clint, and Meredith.
Yo, this actually confuses the heck out of me. It's confusing. Like, he comes in, okay, like that. He's coming in. And then, like, look at this. Just watch.
Making their way up the escalator to the Ugly Tuna Saloona.
Inside the bar, Brian seemed normal. He was just hanging out with his friends. Later that night, he appeared on camera again.
At 1:55 a.m., Brian made his final appearance on the video. He was outside the bar chatting with the young women.
After the conversation, Brian appeared to say goodbye to the girls, and he turned and walked back toward the bar. A short time later, the bar closed. Brian's friends looked for him, but there was no sign of him. They assumed he went home on his own. That assumption was wrong. The next day, Brian's girlfriend tried to call his cell phone, but it didn't go through, so she went to his apartment.
Late that night, Alexis says she began what would become a ritual, going to Brian's apartment to see if by some miracle he'd come home.
Brian never came home. After 2 days, he was reported missing. He was last seen at the bar, so police checked out the bar's security footage. They clearly saw Brian enter the building, but they couldn't find a video of him leaving. That made no sense. The bar had several security cameras. If Brian exited the building, cameras would have recorded him. Then police found one possible gap. There was a service exit behind the bar that led to a construction area. Guests weren't supposed to use that door, but it was possible that Brian went through there. So police brought scent dogs to search the area.
They did take some dogs through the construction site, but they didn't pick up enough to make the police think that Brian had left that way.
The case made no sense. Then police considered another dark possibility. Maybe something happened to Brian inside the bar. Maybe someone hurt him and hid him somewhere in the building. So police searched the bar from top to bottom, but they found no sign of Brian. There was no evidence that a crime happened inside. Police widened the search.
Police started searching nearby streets, checking dumpsters, nearby bodies of water, and canvassing locals, asking if they had seen him.
Still, they found nothing. Police also questioned the people who saw Brian that night. They wanted to know if anyone was lying, so they asked each person to take a lie detector test. That was when the first red flag appeared. Most people willingly took the lie detector test and passed. Only one person refused. That person was Clint, the friend who was with Brian that night. That made investigators suspicious, so they tried to question him again, but Clint reportedly stopped cooperating with the investigation. Brian's family believed Clint knew more than he was saying, but there wasn't enough proof to connect him to Brian's disappearance. And without evidence of a crime, police could not charge him. The case was stuck. Brian's family and friends kept searching. They shared posters online and offline. Columbus police called it the most baffling case they ever encountered. Over time, people came up with theories. Some believed Brian staged his own disappearance, but the police found no evidence that he made any preparation to leave voluntarily. Brian's family rejected that theory too.
Why would a second-year medical student want to throw away over 6 years of college, hard work, his family, and a girlfriend he loved.
The second theory was much darker. People believed someone ended Brian's life and hid his body. But that theory had holes too. If Brian was attacked inside the bar, police would have found some kind of evidence. Other theories have come and gone, but none of them solved the case. 20 years later, Brian Schaefer is still missing, and that CCTV footage is the most haunting.
What if they put him in the roof? Hey, you never know. You never know.
Part of the story because it showed where Brian was, not where he went. This next story is about a woman who thought someone was hunting her, and her final recording suggests she may have been right. The woman watching the door. Emma Filipoff was trying to build a new life in Canada, but that life was falling apart. In 2012, Emma lived in Victoria, far away from her family. She moved there for a fresh start, but she struggled to find steady work. Money became a serious problem. Soon, Emma ended up in a women's shelter. She was also dealing with something quietly. Emma reportedly had mental health issues. She kept a diary where she wrote down her darkest thoughts.
I feel like there's someone following me.
At one point, she wrote that she felt like someone was watching her.
I feel weird sometimes. I feel like I'm being stalked.
Imagine being able to build anything.
That is not just normal feeling.
Meet Base 44.
That is not just normal feeling.
No one knows if Emma was really being followed, but one thing was clear. She believed she was in danger. Soon, that fear affected her behavior.
She kept the curtains in her room closed at all times, and was often seen frantically moving her furniture out to the curb, claiming that they were making too much noise.
In November 2012, Emma's worrying behavior was caught on camera. She went to an office to complete some paperwork, but when she tried to leave, something seemed to stop her.
She goes in and out the door 6 times within minutes.
It looked like she wanted to leave, but something outside seemed to scare her.
Was someone out there?
Emma did eventually leave the office, but her fear was getting worse. A few days later, Emma called her mother to ask for help. She wanted to go back home. Emma's mom booked a flight to Victoria so she could bring Emma back, but by the time she arrived, it was already too late. Emma was nowhere to be found. Several people saw Emma the day she vanished, and most of them felt something was wrong. That morning, Emma went to a 7-Eleven. Before she left the store, she nervously peered through the window.
Pacing back and forth to the door, looking out. What is out there? Is she hiding from someone? Or is it all in her mind?
Later that day, someone saw Emma walking back and forth in the street. She looked lost. A witness called the police.
Her behavior was so strange that this witness called 911. The police took the report, but we don't know if they actually followed up.
Emma kept moving. Later that day, she went back to a 7-Eleven. This time, CCTV footage showed her buying a cell phone. Before she left, she paused near the door.
The video showed her hesitating in departing the store, seemingly checking the street outside.
That evening, witnesses saw her at a street corner. She looked disoriented, paranoid, and seemingly unable to cross the street. Someone called the police again. This time, officers arrived. They spoke with Emma and tried understanding what was happening. After talking to her, they decided she was not a threat to herself or anyone else, so they let her go. That was the last confirmed time anyone saw Emma Filipoff. A few hours later, Emma's mom arrived at the shelter to take her back home, but Emma was not there, and no one could find her. The search began.
After weeks of searching on land with no results, Victoria police took to the water today as they searched for clues in the disappearance of Emma Filipoff.
Months passed. Still, there was no sign of Emma. Then a strange lead came from Vancouver.
Surveillance footage of a man walking into a Vancouver clothing store with a crumpled poster in his right hand he'd just torn down. It was Emma's.
At the time, missing posters with Emma's face were all over the city. One man walked into a clothing store holding one of those posters. He told the people inside that he was Emma's boyfriend. He insisted Emma was not missing. She just ran away because she hated her parents. After saying that, he left the store.
Like so many other tips, the man in the green shirt held out only momentary hope, then disappeared.
Emma Filipoff's disappearance remains unsolved. Some believed she had a mental breakdown on the day she vanished, but that doesn't explain where she went. The camera doesn't lie, but it doesn't always tell the whole story either. These recordings caught the moment before, never the moment after. So my friends, pay attention to the people you love right now, not just the footage they leave behind. Visual Venture.
That was awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was awesome. Okay. Well, that's the end of the video. I've been trying to do some Bible studies, but I've been having stuff to do, and this is just easier, you know. I have to like print out papers and everything. So, yeah, I guess I'll try to do it next time, but I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm starting high school and everything, so yeah. Okay, well, peace out. Trust God, and always try to go in the right direction, and watch yourself. Watch yourself for strangers. Okay, peace out. Trust God. Bye.